Children lie. We know that. But sometimes they describe things they should not know. Things no one ever taught them. Things no one ever mentioned. And when parents finally realize this, it's already too late. Because whatever the child is talking to doesn't introduce itself. It waits. Tonight, this isn't a story about monsters under the bed. It's about families who listened to their children just one day too late. It always starts small. A child talking to an empty room, laughing when no one else is there. Parents brush it off. Oh, it's just an imaginary friend. They have such an active imagination. It's a sweet, innocent phase most kids go through. Imaginary friends. Don't correct adults on facts they couldn't possibly know. Imaginary friends don't whisper things a child was never told. Secrets from your own past. A name you haven't spoken in decades. A private fear you've only ever admitted to yourself in the dead of night. And perhaps most unsettling of all, imaginary friends don't get upset when parents listen in on their conversations. They don't suddenly fall silent, a playful smile vanishing from the child's face, replaced by a look of stern warning, as the child turns to you and says, "They don't like it when you're here." This isn't about a whimsical playmate named Pookie the Purple Dragon. This is about a presence. An uninvited, unseen observer that has somehow latched on to the most innocent member of the family. The stories pile up from parents who thought they were alone in this experience. A toddler in Ohio who started humming a lullaby his mother's grandmother used to sing, a song she had never heard before. A 4-year-old in London who told her father not to take his usual route to work because there would be a big, loud crash. A warning that saved him from a 5-car pileup. These aren't cute anecdotes. They're alarms. Alarms that are too often silenced by our own logical, adult minds, desperate to find a rational explanation where there might not be one. We want to believe our homes are safe, that the only things that go bump in the night are the house settling or the cat knocking something over. But the first warning sign isn't a bump in the night. It's a quiet conversation in the bright light of day, across dozens of reported cases, scattered over years and across continents. Families who experienced this phenomenon noticed the same terrifying pattern, a set of consistent details that defy coincidence. First, the child never gives the friend a name. It's one of the first things parents ask, trying to engage with the child's world. What's your friend's name? The answer isn't Sparkle or Captain Jack. The answer, almost universally, is a simple, matter-of-fact statement. They already have one. When pressed, the child either clams up or gets distressed, insisting that you're not supposed to ask. It's a secret, a rule they've been told not to break. The name is not for you. Second, the child insists the friend occupies a specific, immovable spot in the house. It's not a companion that follows them from room to room. It has its post, the corner of the bedroom, just by the closet, the top of the stairs, looking down into the living room, the empty chair at the dinner table that no one is allowed to sit in. Always watching, always waiting. The child will point to the empty space with complete conviction. They're standing right there. They'll talk to that spot, laugh with it, and sometimes argue with Italiano. Parents who have tried to challenge this, to stand in that specific spot to prove nothing is there, are often met with their child's sheer panic. Screams of "get out of their spot." You're making them angry. It's a territorial claim on a piece of your home, made by something you can't see. And then there's the final, unifying detail, the one that strips away any remaining comfort of this being a child's game. After weeks or months of growing unease, when the parents finally sit their child down and ask the question that has been haunting them, "What does your friend want?" The answer is never playful. It's never to play hide and seek or to have some ice cream. The answer is always calm, chillingly calm, delivered with the simple innocence only a child possesses. They're waiting for you to stop watching, waiting for the moment you stop paying attention, the moment you let your guard down, the moment you're not there to protect them. The message is clear. It's not the child they're interested in. They already have the child. They're waiting for you. Have you ever noticed that children seem to operate on a different frequency? They see things we miss, hear things we tune out, and know things we've long forgotten. This story isn't about imaginary friends. It's about the very real things that children know, and we, as adults, choose to ignore. It always starts subtly. A misplaced toy, a door left ajar that you were sure you closed. You blame it on a long day, on stress, on a faulty memory. But then, your child starts talking, not to you, but to the empty spaces in the room. They aren't playing. They're negotiating. And you, standing just outside the doorway, feel a chill that has nothing to do with the temperature. The first time you ask, "Who are you talking to?" they'll just smile, as if it's the most obvious thing in the world. "The friend," they might say, and you smile back, because that's what parents do. You tell yourself it's normal, a phase, but deep down, a knot of unease begins to tighten because something in their eyes doesn't look like play. It looks like an understanding. This phase, the one you dismiss as imagination, is where the rules are established. Your child is learning a new set of instructions, and they're not coming from you. They learn not to cry out at night. They learn that some toys belong in specific places. They learn that certain rooms are for walking quietly. You won't notice these changes at first. You'll just feel a strange, new quietness in the house. A stillness that feels less like peace and more like a held breath. Your child becomes a gatekeeper to a world you can't see, and they are learning its language fluently while you are still struggling to admit it even exists. They are no longer just your child. They've become a bridge between your world and ... something else, and the toll for crossing that bridge has not yet been collected. The real shift happens at night, between 7:30 p.m., when the bedtime stories are finished, and 10:30 p.m., when the house is finally silent. This is when things escalate. Your child starts waking up in the morning utterly exhausted. There are no tears, no nightmares they can recall. They're just drained, as if they spent the entire night running a marathon you never saw. Meanwhile, you start hearing things. The soft patter of footsteps on the floorboards when everyone is supposed to be asleep. You tell yourself it's the house settling, the pipes groaning, but the footsteps don't sound like wood or metal. They sound like bare feet on a cold floor. Toys move. Not dramatically, not like in the movies. Just a slight turn of a doll's head. A toy car now facing the door instead of the wall. Furniture feels off. A chair is an inch closer to the bed than you remember leaving it. It's never enough to prove anything, just enough to make you question your own sanity. You start to feel like a guest in your own home. Then, the child starts saying things that make the hair on your arms stand up. While you're tucking them in, they might whisper, "You shouldn't sleep there." When you ask why, they'll say they don't like it. You'll try to turn on a nightlight, and they'll stop you. They don't like the lights on. You'll be having a quiet conversation with your partner in the next room, and the next morning, your child will say, "They said you're loud." And when you finally sit them down, your heart pounding, and ask the most important question, "Who are they?" The child will just look at you with a baffling sense of confusion, as if you're the one who doesn't get it. They'll look you right in the eye and say, "You already know." And in that moment, you realize this isn't a game anymore. The line between imagination and reality has been completely erased, and your child is the only one who knows the new map. As the nights grow stranger, the family dynamic begins to fray. The quiet arguments start. They happen in hushed tones in the kitchen after the child is asleep. It's not about fear, not yet. It's about denial. One parent starts connecting the dots to exhaustion, the strange comments, the misplaced objects. They see a pattern emerging, a chilling narrative taking shape. The other parent refuses to see it. It's just stress. They'll insist, "You're overtired." You're letting your imagination run away with you. They create logical explanations for illogical events, clinging to normalcy like a life raft. But children are perceptive. They sense this divide. They feel the tension crackling in the air between the two people they trust most in the world. And that's when the real change happens. Your child becomes distant. They stop running to you for comfort after a bad dream. They stop asking questions about the world. They just watch. It's not rebellion. It's not a phase of independence. It's a replacement. Something else is giving them comfort now. Something else is answering their questions. The bond he thought was unbreakable is being quietly, systematically severed. You are no longer their primary source of truth. You are just the person who lives in the house, and the entity that has been patiently watching from the shadows has now taken your place. For many families caught in this silent spiral, the moment of undeniable truth comes too late. It's never a dramatic, face-to-face confrontation with a monster. It's something far more insidious, captured by the cold, impartial lens of technology. A baby monitor left on by mistake. A security camera clip reviewed for an unrelated reason. A phone that was accidentally left recording audio in the room. The footage is never what you'd expect. It never shows a ghostly figure or a shadowy monster. What it shows is far, far worse. It shows the child sitting bolt upright in their bed, in the dead of night, in a pitch-black room. And they are speaking, not in the mumbled, nonsensical way a child might talk in their sleep. They are speaking with perfect clarity, with articulation, with intent. They're talking to someone positioned just out of the camera's frame. They're not playing. They are explaining, methodically, patiently, as if they are giving a report about you, about your habits, your conversations, your fears, and then, just as you're trying to process what you're seeing, what you're hearing, the child says something that shatters your world into a million pieces. They pause, as if listening to a response, and then they say, in a calm, matter-of-fact voice, something no child should ever know how to say. They said, "You won't remember this part. What happens after that?" The families don't disappear. The houses don't become abandoned. From the outside, everything looks the same. They remain. But something essential is missing. A warmth, a connection. The parents struggle to recall exactly when things change. The memories become foggy, indistinct. They remember the arguments, but not the cause. They remember a feeling of unease, but the specific events that triggered it are lost, as if erased. The memory wipe was successful. The child grows up, but they grow quieter, more observant, less attached. They excel in school. They have friends. They appear perfectly normal. But the light in their eyes is different. It's an old light, a knowing light. And years later, if a relative or a family friend happens to bring up the imaginary friend they used to have, the child, now a young adult, will just smile. A polite, distant, chilling smile. And they'll say, "You wouldn't understand now." Whatever was watching, whatever was listening, it didn't take the child. It didn't need to. It stayed. It became a part of him. The replacement was complete. If you're a parent, this story probably unsettled you. That's not an accident. It's because deep down, we know that children don't imagine fierte notis italiano. They are barometers for the unseen pressures in our world. If you made it this far, comment I listened below. I want to know who stayed for the whole story. Subscribe for more stories that feel uncomfortably real. And tonight, if you happen to hear your child talking when they should be fast asleep, don't rush in. Don't dismiss it. Just stand by the door and listen carefully, because some voices only answer to children.